Up next on Nightcast, a new development in a drunk driving case. An Albany woman may be charged with murder.
If you filled up at one area gas station, you may be in store for a big payoff.
And from the weather department, we'll take a look at a storm down south that may play a role in our weather towards the end of the holiday weekend.
In sports, both Siena and the Patroons playing on the road with varying results.
And we'll wish some Russians happy holidays. I'm Dick Wood.
And I'm Marci Elliott. Nightcast is next.
This is 10 Eyewitness News Nightcast with Dick Wood, Marci Elliott, Weather Plus with Joe Sottile, Ed O'Brien with sports, and the 10 Eyewitness News team.
Good evening. You may be entitled to up to $200 if your car troubles were caused by Cumberland Farms gasoline.
10 Eyewitness News reporter Cary Berglund is in the newsroom with word of a major settlement today. Cary.
We're talking the big dollars, Dick and Marci. A story 10 Eyewitness News first brought you some 2.5 years ago has reached its legal conclusion tonight with a $400,000 settlement against Cumberland Farms for mixing methanol in their gasoline. If you had car troubles and bought your gas at Cumberland Farms stores, you'll want to pay very close attention.
This is quite a settlement for consumers.
More than 700 people complained about car troubles following the discovery Cumberland Farms was selling gas that was mixed with methanol. 400 of those dissatisfied customers have already been paid. The rest will be once they present their evidence. The settlement even covers consumers who haven't reported a problem yet. If you bought gas at Cumberland Farms between August of 1984 and April of 1986, you have not been left out in the cold. You've got 60 days to come forward and present bills for car repairs. You could be paid back.
The amount of restitution, which will be in the hundreds of thousands of dollars, will fully reimburse anyone who was victimized by the purchase of this gasoline.
The problems caused by the gas mixture hit some 18 different car parts, causing bucking, stalling, hesitation, clogged fuel system components, damaged carburetors, ruined fuel injectors, and engine failure. The lawsuit settlement will cost Cumberland Farms upwards of $400,000, depending on how many more customers come forward. Conway says the company has been fined $200,000 as well.
The fine of $200,000 sends a message to other gasoline retailers or any merchant that these types of practices cannot be engaged in this state.
The judgment also guarantees all consumers an oral hearing within 35 days of the request.
Will all this be handled by an arbitrator?
No. Some will be offered arbitration. Others will be offered a settlement by Cumberland Farms without arbitration. In the case of arbitration, however, a decision is guaranteed within 15 days of the hearing, so it's going to move quickly now.
Okay, Care, thanks. Dick?
Well, a Rensselaer County grand jury has indicted an accused arsonist, George Price, allegedly left notes around town claiming responsibility for 6 fires. 3 weeks after his arrest, the grand jury indicted Price on 18 counts of attempted murder, 6 counts of arson, 7 charges of reckless endangerment, and 6 charges of criminal mischief. If convicted, he could go to prison for years.
That were set fire to, as I understand it. And in fact, the defendant, correct me if I'm wrong, Chief, but the defendant had expressed in some of his notes the hope that he would kill someone.
Right.
On more than one occasion.
Tonight, Price is undergoing psychiatric tests at a state hospital. He's due to be arraigned next week.
On our news checks tonight, a murder-suicide in Kingston. Police tell us that David Whitebread of Rosendale shot his wife in the head and then shot himself. The 2 bodies were discovered by neighbors this morning. Albany police are still on the lookout for 2 black males who robbed the Central Veterinary Hospital on Central Avenue this afternoon. Eyewitnesses say the men in their early 20s were carrying shotguns and wearing masks. They took about $200 in cash.
Police in Newton, Massachusetts safely apprehended an armed former prison inmate who held a man hostage for 11 hours. Just hours ago, officers took the suspect into custody without firing a shot. The incident began this morning as police responded to a robbery. After a pursuit, police say the gunman, Kenneth Bernstein, broke into a house, took his hostage. No one was hurt. Former Tyson trainer Kevin Rooney is in trouble with the law again. Last night, New York City police arrested Rooney, charging him with drunk driving. During an arraignment in Manhattan court today, Rooney pleaded innocent and was released on his own recognizance. He'll be back in court February 3rd. It's known as the Electric City, but tonight there's a plan afoot in Schenectady that may make things a little darker. Mayor Karen Johnson would like to turn off streetlights like this one on Erie Boulevard, all to save money. The city says it could save thousands of dollars in the move, money that could be used for other services in this budget crunch time.
Deborah Moquin may be tried for murder. The Albany woman is behind bars for a DWI incident which killed 15-year-old Kathleen Quinn of Delmar 2 years ago. But the charge of second-degree murder against Moquin was dropped by Judge John Turner after Moquin's attorney cited insufficient evidence. Well, the accident that killed Quinn took place on Route 85 in Slingerlands in August of '87. Moquin, who was drunk, hit the car Quinn was a passenger in. She's in jail for 3 to 9 years but was never tried for the incident, having pled guilty to all other charges against her. A murder conviction would mean a longer jail term, but just what happens next, we don't know. Her attorney, F. Stanton Ackerman, is out of town tonight.
We're ready to go and try this case, if it has to be tried. We'll take that gambling chance. Not that we want revenge against Moquin. I think the case is serious enough to warrant the question of whether or not it was murder.
Greenberg could not tell us when the next action would take place. It is up to the defense attorney.
New York State has lucked out and is being spared a Pentagon budget act that proposes to cut 145 military bases. A government commission is recommending that some bases be closed, including Fort Dix in New Jersey. Now, the cutbacks hope to save as much as $5 billion over the next 5 years. Thousands of jobs will be affected.
It was a big night in Green Island. The Heatley School Auditorium was packed tonight with people eager to see hometown boy Mike McNulty take the oath of office as a member of the United States Congress. In keeping with a family tradition, his father, John J. McNulty, Jr., administered the oath. Afterwards, the congressman thanked those who made the moment possible.
It would be impossible to individually recognize all those who worked on this campaign. I salute Charlie Diamond and the hundreds of volunteers who gave the full measure of their time, talent, and abilities to this endeavor. And I know Charlie is here somewhere, too. On behalf of all the
McNulty earlier this month was elected Democratic whip for the new members of Congress from the northern region of the country. He will formally start his term January 3rd as a member of the 101st Congress.
America's Airlines are on the lookout for terrorists tonight. When 10 Eyewitness News Nightcast returns, we'll show you how security is being beefed up overseas.
And later, New York State moves to prevent another bridge disaster.
Coming up in just a few minutes, we'll take a look at the weather that'll bring us into the holiday weekend. I'll have my forecast coming up in a few minutes. Stay with us.
The most painful journey a father could make is over tonight for Paul Hudson of Albany. Mr. Hudson returned home late this afternoon on this Pan Am flight from Lockerbie, Scotland. There he identified the body of his daughter, Melina, who was a victim of the Flight 103 crash. Hudson came home today to make arrangements with his wife for a memorial service for their 16-year-old daughter. Her body has not yet been returned to the States. The Hudson family has invited the public to the Saturday service at the Cathedral of Immaculate Conception on Eagle Street at 10 a.m. Well, tighter security for U.S. airlines tonight. That is the word from the FAA and other countries after last week's bombing of Pan Am Flight 103. At London's Heathrow Airport and other airports in Britain, armed guards are patrolling outside the ticket counters of American Airlines. For America's Airlines, British security forces also using extra care when checking luggage and passengers. Investigators say it was a bomb in a suitcase that killed 259 people on the plane and 11 on the ground.
Well, New York has a new law tonight aimed at beefing up the state's bridge inspection plan. That new law requires inspection of bridges once every 2 years. Now, the new plan comes after last year's fatal Thruway bridge disaster. 10 people died when a bridge over the Schoharie Creek collapsed. Critics charge the Thruway Authority had a number of problems with its inspection program when that accident happened. High winds forced a 4-story building down in Philadelphia last night. 2 people were killed when tons of bricks and other debris crashed on 2 parked cars. No one inside the building was killed. Investigators are still searching for a cause as to why the building suddenly gave way during the windstorm.
This Sunday, 230,000 more New Yorkers will become eligible for Medicaid. The newly eligible are those with low-paying jobs and who have no employer-provided health insurance. Under the program, a family of 3 making $8,500 a year or less can apply. A state welfare advocacy group is urging that all those who qualify sign up, and at the same time, the group blasted state officials for not announcing the new start date. University of Chicago scientists say they have developed a new drug that offers hope to victims of prostate cancer. The experimental drug, known as Casodex, is thought to help 70% of the patients treated.
Who's Albany's best city employee? Well, a big crowd turned out at City Hall to pay tribute to the city's Employees of the Year. Mayor Thomas Whalen presented plaques and savings bonds to Fire Department Lieutenant Barry Dyer, Parking Enforcement Officer Marie Dietz, Vital Statistics Clerk Diane Burke, and Parks Department Foreman Tim Mayo for their outstanding performance during 1988, and he called them Albany's best.
All the good things that we see, the good things that we feel about the city are responsible thanks to their efforts.
That lady, by the way, was Diane Rourke. The 4 Employees of the Year will serve as Grand Marshals of the first night parade on New Year's Eve.
Hopefully the weather will be good that night.
Sure.
Up next, we can tell you that meteorologist Greg Playford has the first look at a weekend storm, though.
And later, a giant Christmas card heads to Russia. We'll show you how you can take part in the holiday greeting. Well, I hope that your pattern continues from the earlier show. We're not going to get too much tough stuff ahead in the next couple of days.
I don't think so. There is a storm system that's way down south, mouth of the Mississippi. It's going to take a couple of days before it gets here. It looks like probably a Monday storm. A lot of people have Monday off for a holiday. I think New Year's Eve, though, Saturday night should be dry. Cold but dry. That's the important one. So I think everything's looking good right now. Let's take a look at the high. At the Albany County Airport today, under lots of clouds, we reached the freezing mark, 32. The low this morning of 24, normals of 31 and 14, records of 71 and 18 below zero. Still cloudy at the airport, just a few light flurries around, but not falling at the time of the observation. So they're calling it cloudy. Temperatures at 27, relative humidity at 71%. The barometric pressure is steady at 30.27. Winds very light out of the south-southwest at 3 miles per hour, and a trace of precipitation in the form of snow measured at the airport from those light snow showers that move through. 20 degrees, a very common temperature throughout the New York State and New England region. Glens Falls at 20, Utica at 20, Binghamton at 20. Colder spots to the north and to the east with the skies. The cloud cover is a little bit thinner. Burlington at 16, Concord, New Hampshire checking at 18, and again that 20-degree reading over in Watertown. Syracuse a little thicker cloud cover at 24. Capital District, Schenectady checking in with 26, Troy at 24, as it is in Pittsfield, Massachusetts, and 20 over in Bennington, Vermont. The satellite map from earlier this evening shows lots of clouds all throughout New England and New York State, but the thicker cloudiness going from the state of Pennsylvania down through the Ohio Valley into the states of Indiana and Illinois. The current satellite map shows you that there's a little trough of low pressure, a little line of activity stuck between 2 ridges of high pressure, so it's not moving too much, but it is enough energy to touch off some snow shower and light snow flurry activity all the way from the center part of the Great Lakes through the lower parts of the Capital District to the Catskills and over into southern New England. Not much in the way of any problems for driving or accumulations of snow, so nothing to really worry about. And it'll pretty much dissipate between the ridges, between the 2 ridges of high pressure. On the national scene, a big storm out in the Pacific Northwest may play a role in our weather later on in the weekend, but right now it's causing all kinds of problems out there. Winter storm warnings in effect for portions of Idaho for tomorrow. A strong ridge of high pressure centered right over the state of Nevada. Frost and freeze warnings, especially in some of the valleys in Southern California and also into Arizona. They're getting very cold weather up there. But watch all the moisture that's starting to develop out of the Gulf of Mexico near the states of Texas and Louisiana. This is the storm system that we will see, I believe, on or about Sunday night, probably into Monday. This storm system will have to move across quickly. We have almost zonal flow in the atmosphere, and that means everything's moving west-east right now. So the energy will shear off and keep that storm system down to the south. This one will brush across northern New York State during the latter part of the day tomorrow. The ridge of high pressure will reestablish itself, give us a decent day Saturday and most of Sunday, but that's also, therein lies some of the problem in that we'll have some cold air anchored over us by the time this storm gets its act together and decides to move up to the northeast. We will watch it over the weekend for you because right now it looks like it has the potential to be a dangerous storm with a lot of moisture coming up out of the Mississippi Valley. Chilly temperatures around the state and the region during the day tomorrow morning. The storm system will move across the northern plain states, and by tomorrow afternoon, most of New York State, the northern half of New York State, may get a little light dusting from this storm system, and as the storm continues to brew down to the south. Here's my forecast for the remainder of this evening. Our skies will stay mostly cloudy. Temperatures falling down into the 15 to 20 degree range. For tomorrow, we'll have partly to mostly sunny skies. A few flurries still around, highs 28 to 32. For tomorrow evening, mostly clear, not quite as cold as previous evenings, lows near 20. And for Saturday, increasing cloudiness, light snow developing, mainly in northern New York, highs about 30 degrees. For southern Vermont and western Massachusetts, variable cloudiness this evening, a few flurries, lows near 10. And for tomorrow, mixture of sun and clouds, still flurries in the forecast. Highs about the seasonal range, that means about 32. Long-range outlook shows that storm coming in on Monday, probably start off right now with some snow, and then as the storm moves right over, it's warm up a little bit to change over to rain. So it could get a little sloppy there, my friend.
But not a disaster. We can handle it.
Well, it doesn't look like it right now, but we have to watch these.
Better believe it. All right.
Okay, well, this Christmas, the stork, not Santa, left a present behind at the Memphis Zoo. Twin hippopotami weighing 45 pounds each were born on Christmas Day at that zoo. They are the first twin hippos born in the U.S. in 25 years. Zoo officials say they won't be able to tell the sex of the twins until they're a little older, but they report mom and kids are doing just fine.
Good. In sports, Dale O'Brien is up next with all of the night's action.
Including round one highlights from the RPI hockey tournament. Tonight, the Engineers taking on Notre Dame.
And now, the 10 Eyewitness News Ski Report, brought to you by McDonald's.